that the new model that they understand is, don't ask me for money, because I got to go work before I got to give it to you. And all nonprofits look at it, goes, but you make so much, why shouldn't you give it to us? And my thinking is, go get a job and you figure out how hard it is to get it, right? Because you got to earn it first. So I said, change your model into give us something and a reason to give you the money. And we were going to give you the money. And so I said, hey, make your little nonprofit into a taco business. What am I getting for my $2? I give you a beautiful taco. You give me nothing. Give me a little piece of paper that says I gave you $2. But what am I going to do with that piece of paper? I can't do anything with it. So I've changed the world upside down. I've gotten all my friends involved. And we have what I call a lot of fun doing nonprofit work. Whether my buddy Eric here is going to Mexico to an orphanage, whatever it is that I do, I try to spin it in a way to where it's like the original Tom Sawyer where you're painting the fence. I've kind of become that guy that tells all my friends, hey, painting the fence is really fun. And at the end of the day, they don't realize that I've taken 5 or 10, 20, 30,000 out of their pocket. So I become really, really good at it. And, because it's hard for me to take it out of my pocket. So I said, if I can get my dollar and his dollar and his dollar, we're now making a difference. So I've taken my little taco stand and turned it into, hey, here's how we can make more money. So all of the events that I've been involved in, year 1 might have made 10,000, year 2, 20, year 3. We're now into the hundreds of thousands through some of these events. You know, and that's the fun part. It's actually, like you said, having a sustainable model that year in, year out, when I call the person, they're willing to say, yes, I'm in for 5,000 again because it was that much fun last year. So that's the new, it's about me because we're all selfish. So if they're not having any fun, they're not going to give me their money. So not only do I take my money to match theirs, I get theirs to match mine, and we have a lot of fun doing it. So that's what I do for half my days.
That's great. Thanks, Wayne.
Well, Wayne, you're not at my fundraising circle yet, so. But I love your tacos.
How can I have fun with you?
Let's talk about that. So, the leaving a legacy versus making a mark. I mean, I think leaving a legacy is more in service to others rather than, I think making a mark's kind of more, you know, self-oriented. And so I think for me, the leaving a legacy is the service piece. And then the legacy piece kind of implies that it's sustainable, that it lasted, it wasn't a flash in the pan, that it, you know, it outlived you. And so I think thinking about a sort of environmentally sustainable but financially sustainable, you know, services. You know, we provide services to kids. So I want to know that if I got hit by a truck tomorrow, that the work, you know, won't end. That you know, the work. So it's really about organization building and, you know, all those things. And so I'm a Peter Drucker School grad, and so I have a lot of little Druckerisms. But you know, one of the things that Drucker said is that every social problem is a business opportunity waiting, you know, business opportunity in disguise. And so I think, you know, for us, we support at-risk children and help them improve their education. We have this, you know, we've had this massive immigration in the last 15 or 20 years, you know, in Southern California and the United States, and basically taking this, building the new American dream, taking these kids who came here and the families brought them here to make a better life, and turning them into knowledge workers in basically in a generation is kind of our challenge. And so that's what we work with schools, you know, to do that, because we don't have the middle class jobs in you know, the size that we did when we had the massive immigration during the last century. So you know, building the systems of support that can take that you know, that immigrant impulse and help them fulfill the American dream. That's what we're all about.
Great, very good, thanks. So coming from the business side, that's how I view my world, that I come from in the insurance, which is not rather exciting, so to say. The way I see the world, you know, Mark and leaving a legacy is, I have to agree with my panelists in that all of us will leave a mark. And marks come both good and bad. And history has shown that to us. You know, to be extreme, we have people like, you know, Adolf Hitler that come along and leave a mark that we all remember and study upon, but a mark that's not good. But then you have people like Dr. Martin Luther King that began to shape things that I see as a legacy. And so the way I see it is that a mark has two distinct characteristics to it. One is time, and the other is that it is right. It is somewhat selfish. You know, as a businessman, I'm here to make money so that I can pass that along to others. But a legacy, I think, is timeless. But a legacy, I think, is principle-centered. Ones that we all want to be attracted to. Ones like Dr. Martin Luther King that said, I'm going to march on the path of love and grace and forgiveness and compassion. Those are the things that outlive us all. And so I have come on a very far journey when I left college and suffering in Santa Barbara for 4 years to come back to San Diego, which I know you all feel for me. I was like, I am going to make some money, right? I go to college, give me that degree, and the world is my oyster, and here I come. And I'm telling you this, I've been to some very poor places in this world. And I've made a full circle that I want to leave a legacy. And more importantly, I've got 2 children at home, and if I do nothing but instill in those young minds that the stuff in this world will fade away. The money that you leave to someone will be spent. The home that you live in today, at some point, will be burned down and rebuilt. The power is when you decide to invest in others. So whatever resource you might have as a business owner or an employee, in a large S&P 500 corporation, you have the power to make a difference in your sphere of influence, to make that legacy beyond yourself. See, when we examine Dr. Martin Luther King and Mother Teresa and people like that, they said, I'm an empty vessel for what? The world. So use me. But when I walk with grace. And I walk with forgiveness. I walk with compassion. So I think there's a clear difference. And so I encourage all of us, to want to leave a legacy in the capacity in which we can. So.
Well, you're a tough act to follow.
Yeah, sorry.
No wonder nobody was sitting here.
Sorry.
Oh, that's good. Well, I will just share, my personal experience in this area, and because I've certainly had some failures in terms of the legacy side before getting on the path that I'm on today. With my first company, I think I successfully made a mark, and after doing that, I realized I needed to go the legacy path in terms of just as a founder of a company. It's not unusual to fall into what's called founder syndrome, where I thought I was the only one who could do it, and the more successful the company became, the less quality of life I was enjoying, because it was just taking more and more of my time and energy to be the one driving all that. And so I looked to create my legacy by having somebody else that could take this beyond where I had taken it. And had several missteps along the way in making, in some cases, the wrong choices. In other cases, maybe a good choice, but I didn't necessarily know how to be to allow them to make it happen. And to ultimately where I am today, where I've got a president running that company and that freed me up. I haven't been actually running that company in terms of day-to-day for about 8 years, I guess. So it freed me up to focus on the really exciting legacy building kind of things